Am I the a-hole for telling my cousin's fiancé that he scammed me in order to buy her a diamond ring, which resulted in the end of their relationship? 4 days ago, I received a call from my cousin, Charles. He is asking if he could borrow some money because his girlfriend's dog got into an accident and is in dire need of immediate surgery. I'm a dog lover, and Charles sounds panicking, so I got convinced easily. I lent him around $200, and that amount is no joke because I have to work for 5 days in order to earn that. Then yesterday, I met Charles' fiancée at the mall while I'm buying a new phone. My first thought was to ask how her dog is, but then I noticed that she's carrying her dog with her. The dog looks healthy, which left me confused, so I asked her about the accident, but even she was confused as well. Then she changed the topic right away by flexing her diamond ring. Apparently, Charles proposed to her 4 days ago. She said it was too sudden, and that the day before that, they had a really huge argument because Charles seems to be evading the talk about their marriage. And it made sense to me. There was no dog accident. Rather, Charles made up that story because he was desperate to buy her a diamond ring. I got furious because I hate it when people lie to me, so I told his fiancée about it. That Charles told me her dog got into an accident and I lent him $200 for the operation, which he probably used to buy her a diamond ring. She got silence before she said her goodbye. Then later, Charles barged into our home, furious and looking for me. He's mad because I told his fiancée that he scammed me, and now she broke up with him for good. He's blaming me for everything, especially since it is not confirmed whether or not he used my money to purchase the ring. In my defense, I told him that even if he didn't use my money to buy it, he still lied because the dog didn't get into an accident. Anyway, my mom sided with him, telling me that I should have at least confronted him first, rather than ruining a relationship and Charles' reputation. It's late night here, but I can't sleep because I'm still fuming in anger. It's unfair that everyone seems to be blaming me for this breakup. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your cousin lied. Plain and simple. It doesn't matter what he used the money for. He made up an emergency to try and scam money from you versus just asking to borrow money. She didn't break up with him because of you. She broke up with him because he is a liar and a manipulator. I guarantee it's been a pattern in their relationship. Not the a-hole. And this. If this was his first lie/manipulation and he was otherwise honest, Abe, this wouldn't have been an instant deal breaker. To be fair, I could totally understand this being an instant deal breaker. Even if this was the first time I realized something was off about someone, it would definitely have me reevaluating my entire understanding of that person, and I would probably at minimum put a hold on any marriage plans. Nevertheless, OP, this is not your fault. He brought this on himself for stealing and lying. Sucks that he and everyone else blames you for it, but I would probably give a "you're the a-hole" vote if you knew about it and didn't say anything. You are definitely in the moral right here. Not the a-hole. You work hard for your money, and there is nothing worse than a moocher lying to take that money. That's why if someone in that situation were to tell me their dog needed surgery, I'd offer to go to the hospital with them and pay for it there. That way, I know where my money is going. I never give money to anyone, though I'm very generous, and have helped others buy things and pay for things. But I do it directly. Rest assured, you are not the a-hole at all. And you didn't ruin his relationship. He did. Also, you probably did the girl a favor. Now she wants to be married to a lying, scheming a-hole. Good on you. Years ago, when I was in a park in a sketchy area doing my college homework, I was approached by a lady who told me she was going through bad times and her babies were hungry. I was young and naive, and looked it, but I started asking her what kind of food her kids liked. I told her I would be right back and went and got the makings for P&J sandwiches. Of course, she wasn't there when I got back, but I had a tender heart and didn't want to leave her kids hungry just in case she was telling me the truth. Next story. Am I the a-hole for throwing my boyfriend's kid's sandwich away? My boyfriend has a 4-year-old who was recently diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder. He has always had behavioral problems from what I've told. I've only known him a little over a year, and he definitely does have terror moments, but I actually thought people are being overdramatic because it never appeared to be that bad. The way they described the behavior truly made no sense because I never saw him act out terribly, only minor, and we have him 3 days a week. In light of his diagnosis, I went and grabbed a bunch of behavioral books from the library to study up on, and basically from what I gathered, when a child acts out in a certain way when having ODD, You were not supposed to play into it because I guess it's attention-seeking and poor judgment. Not sure how accurate it is. I'm no doctor and I only read a couple books on it. Far from an expert by any means. But anyways, boyfriend left me with his boy to go to work this evening, and my boyfriend's mom stopped by to hang out for a few. I made him a sandwich for dinner, per his request, with a side of macaroni salad. I don't know why this happened, or if perhaps his Grammy's a trigger, because I've never seen him act out like this. But he took his entire plate of food and tossed it on the floor before slamming the table repeatedly not even 5 minutes after she walked through the door. At first, I just gave the sandwich back, landed on the top of the plate. Well, he looked at me and tossed it back on the floor. This time face down. So I just walked over and tossed it in the garbage. Cue immediate meltdown. He's freaking out, my boyfriend's mom is freaking out. I wouldn't let him go to bed hungry, but I wasn't about to make him a new sandwich right then and have him toss that one too. So I was going to just wait until it calmed down. But anyways, boyfriend's mom calls boyfriend at work and tells him I just tossed the kid's food out, and my boyfriend lost his crap and drove home and told me to leave. He wouldn't even let me explain anything. Am I the a-hole? I don't have kids, so I don't know if I'm wrong. Not the a-hole, but the boyfriend and grandma's reaction. Your boyfriend only listened to his mother and didn't ask you. This kid is a package deal with a boyfriend. Is this what you really want? Yeah. Grandma was definitely a trigger for this kid. And she isn't Opie's friend either. My guess is misplaced jealousy since she went out of her way to cause trouble. Opie, I recommend you collect your stuff from your boyfriend's house. You can make other childcare arrangements. And send him a detailed email with references to the books you read. He and his mother need to reflect on why they're not parenting. And he needs to reflect also on why he was willing to believe the worst of you. Not the a-hole. You were supposed to give him back a floor sandwich. The bigger problem here is that your boyfriend threw you out of the home without even letting you explain what happened. Time to move on. That's the most disturbing. He trusts you after 3 years. Then his mommy calls, doesn't tell the whole story, and he just throws you out? WTF? When and if you talk to him again, some strong boundaries need to be set. Not the a-hole. Beyond anything else, if he didn't let you explain yourself and immediately sided with his mother, then gestures everywhere. This is what you can expect moving forward in the relationship. Beyond the potential to side with his son and mother over you no matter what the issue, I get the sense that his mother, himself, and the kid are the type to throw, well, you aren't his mother. He told you to leave, you should take him at his word in my opinion and really leave. I couldn't imagine having a partner who did her own research on her own time about my son's diagnosis. Please give this love and support and amazingness to someone who deserves it. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for kicking my in-laws out? My husband, 25, and I, 23, female, purchased our first home 6 months ago. A 4-bedroom home as we hope to have children soon. My mother-in-law, 52, and father-in-law, 51, are currently living with us for the last 3 months as they are having their home completely remodeled. I am a very private person and protective of my belongings, as I grew up with 5 siblings and my stuff was always stolen, so I make sure that I have my stuff and no one touches without asking. We have a lock in our bedroom door, and we'll lock it when we leave each day because we have personal items and don't need anyone snooping. I had cameras installed in the house because our neighbor's house got broken into last month, and if that were to happen to us, I would want proof and to find out who it was, so we had them installed. Well, my husband and I left out of town for the weekend to get away and be alone. On our way home, the camera in our bedroom notified us of movement, and I was surprised as our room is locked. So I looked at the footage, and there's my in-laws going through my stuff. My mother-in-law threw away my toys, and she ripped the sheets off our bed. She threw them into the restroom and ripped them up. I don't know why. And my father-in-law was throwing out my husband and my clothes from our drawers. My husband and I were furious. When we got home, we saw our room and asked them why they would do this. And they said that they were sure we were hiding that we were secretly pregnant, and they wanted proof, ultrasound photos, to show their friends that they're going to be grandparents. I was furious, and I told them to get out of our home, and that they need to pay for the items that were damaged. They still haven't apologized for their behavior or reimbursed us, and I will not allow them into our home until they do. My husband agrees with me, but his siblings are pissed that we kicked their parents out because now one of them has to take them in. So, am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole, but the in-laws are feral. The siblings of your husband are pissed because now they will have to be responsible for the ferals and are scared what they might destroy in the next house. Stand your ground. If no one wants them, they can go to a motel. Send the videos around to the family. Not a-hole. Nah, wait until you use them for evidence of the deliberate nature and monetary value of their wanton destruction spree in small claims court. Then send them around to everybody. Not a-hole. But what the hell does ripping up sheets or throwing things away have to do with pregnancy? That makes zero sense. Are they nuts? That's what I said. Nothing makes sense with them. I would take them to court and won't let them have a relationship with their future kid. What the hell is wrong with these people? Not a-hole. They are lucky that you're not going to live in having them charged with destruction of property. In the meantime, change the locks on your doors and garage, even if it's just a barrel to your doors. And speak with a lawyer about having them served with a cease and desist letter if they continue their crap, along with nice replacement bill for damages from your lawyer. Call the police if they come back to your home. You owe them nothing. As for the siblings, too bad that they have to put up with their parents now. You did it for 3 months. Not a-hole. This is very abnormal behavior. They broke into your home and trashed your stuff. Not really sure how they can come back from that. I keep my distance from them. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for calling my dad to pick me up and telling him what happened with my mom? My 17 female parents, 35 female/male, had me young and never married. I usually spend 1 week with my dad and 1 with my mom, since they live pretty close and are friendly towards the other. My dad is single now, but my mom has been dating Jerry, 38 male, for the past 8 years. He's amazing not only towards my mom but with me too. He and my dad are friends, and I know I can trust them both. My problem is my mom, who never had any issue letting me know that I ruined her life. Sometimes she's an amazing mom, sometimes she's just not, and this was one of those times. The issue happened last Friday. While I was at the shower, I felt a small lump on the right side of one of my breasts. I freaked out and thought that if I ignored it, it would just disappear. I kept showering, and when I went out, I got half dressed. I started to inspect myself again, and I had a door in front of me. Out of nowhere, Jerry opens the door and we both react. I cover myself and he turns around, starts to say sorry, closes the door and leave. I felt bad, of course, but I know that Jerry didn't do it with ill intent since the shower wasn't running and I forgot to lock the door. A few hours later, Jerry comes into my room and starts to apologize to me. He says that since he saw my door closed, he thought I was in my room, and that he was in an emergency to get into the bathroom, but that he understood that things will inevitably be weird between us for a while, and that it's best for us to tell my mom. I asked him to please don't tell her, but he says that if we keep it a secret, it won't look good, and that my mom has to know. That he'll give me all the space I want, but we can't and shouldn't keep this between us. I agreed, and we both went down to tell my mom. She started berating me for flashing to Jerry, that she always knew I wanted her man, and starts to call me names. Jerry tries to explain to her that it wasn't like that, and that it was him who accidentally opened the door, but my mom says that he doesn't need to defend me and says that I have to go to my room without dinner for being an ass. I did go to my room, but I called my dad to pick me up and explained what happened, and that I didn't feel comfortable here. Not for Jerry, but for my mom. He then tells me to pick more stuff than usual, and that he'll be here in no time. After 10 minutes, I go downstairs, and my mom and dad are fighting and is telling her that I won't be back until she apologizes to me. My mom called me Nahal for letting my dad know our personal business, and for lying to him. Then the next day, she called me angry because Jerry dumped her for her reaction. Also, before anyone worries, the lump in my breast was an ingrown hair that I never noticed. My dad took me to the doctor, and they ran some tests just to make sure, but everything came clear. Not Nahal. Your mom is a mean woman, and you never have to keep it a secret when somebody's treating you poorly. You do not owe her immediate forgiveness, if at all. Do not let her cut you down or bore you. She sounds like she has some toxic issues that she needs to work out on her own, without you around as her punching bag. Also, give your dad a high five. He sounds awesome. It has your best interests at heart. Can we also give Jerry here a high five too? It sounds like he handled this 100% correct, especially dumping the mom part. Is there any way Jerry and Dad can co-parent platonically? They seem like a dream team, and they like each other. They're actually pretty good friends. My father took his sweet time to trust Jerry, but after a few years, my dad told me that if I wanted to include Jerry in some father-daughter activities in school or anything, I could do it. I really thought he was gonna stay in my life forever. Not day home. First, I'm glad the lump was nothing serious. Your mom is nuts. And it appears that Jerry finally figured that out. Stay with your dad. You don't need to be around her. Hugs. Edit. First of all, I want to thank you all for all of your support. I really thought that I did something wrong because my mom is my mom and I want the best for her. I know that she loves Jerry so much. I want to apologize for all of my typos. I was crying when I made a post because I saw a photo of my mom and wanted to see if I was in the wrong or not. Jerry called her out when she called me an ass. It only left after my dad picked me up. He lived with us full time, so I guess he waited for me to be safe. We haven't spoken since then. My dad said that I don't need to be back to my mom's next week and that I can stay here if I want to. I know that my mom's gonna fight him because although he doesn't pay child support, my dad gave her some money monthly in case of an emergency. Jerry used to give her money too. She doesn't have a job or anything. That's why she kept me there despite our bad habits. And I felt that I had to stay because I didn't want her to be alone. She didn't kept it all. I used to get $20 weekly from her. Someone told me that if they go to court, I could tell the judge that I want to live with my father, and they'll take it into consideration, and that I won't be getting Jerry in a bad spot despite what happened in the bathroom.
Am I the a-hole for supporting my nephew after he taught his golden child brother a lesson he will never forget? Context: I, 31 male, and my brother 40 male have two sons, Jack, 16, and James, 13. Jack was born when my brother was still in college. He didn't want a child at that time. He and his girlfriend struggled for a while, managing their studies and raising a child. Thankfully, our parents were supportive and helped him. I also helped in any way I could. Eventually, he finished his studies, landed a job at 27, and got married to his girlfriend. Then their second child, James, was born. Both of them spoiled him a lot. Whenever our parents or I said anything, they claimed James was their planned child, and since they were in a good position, James deserved it. At the same time, they neglected Jack. They gave James expensive gifts, toys, clothes, snacks, and everything. The saddest part is that Jack never once complained. I watched that kid be happy just because his brother was happy opening his gifts. James, on the other hand, was spoiled rotten. He constantly compared his things to Jack's, and if Jack ever got something good from someone, he wanted it too. This problem kept growing. The negligence towards Jack worsened, and James started taking advantage of it. He began getting Jack grounded for things he did, and their parents always believed James no matter what. Over the years, I saw this sparkle in Jack's eyes fade. Now the incident happened this Christmas. To be clear, I love both of my nephews. I don't approve of James's behavior, but I blame the parents, not the kid. So for Christmas, I bought both of them a Nintendo Switch. Jack had wanted one for years, and he almost cried when he got it. He hugged me and thanked me. But James hated it, saying, "I wanted a PS5, not this," and threw it away. I didn't care because I did my part. Whatever he did with his gift was none of my concern. I was not going to enable this kid like his parents did. A few days after Christmas, Jack came knocking on my door. The kid was crying and shaking. I let him in, calmed him down, and asked him what happened. To keep it short, after I gave them both a Nintendo Switch, Jack was too happy with it. He played The Legend of Zelda whenever he had time, and he was having so much fun. That didn't sit well with James. To ruin Jack's fun, James broke his own console and cried to their mom, claiming that Jack broke it. Their mom believed him, snatched Jack's console, gave it to James, and grounded Jack. Jack just lost it this time. Years of unfair treatment finally got to him. He grabbed James by the neck and started choking him. He said he didn't know what came over him, but his mom's screaming and beating couldn't stop him. He just saw red. He started screaming at James, demanding that he tell the truth. James was struggling and begging Jack to release him, and finally, James admitted the truth. Jack let go. James was left gasping for air, and Jack ran away, straight to my apartment. After a while, I received a phone call from my brother, asking me to send Jack home because he had a lot to answer for. Jack wanted to return home to face the consequences alone, but I went with him. When we arrived, I saw James visibly terrified of Jack. He had never faced consequences for his actions before, and it looked like Jack's anger had truly scared him. My brother started screaming at Jack, but I stopped him. I asked James, in front of everyone, why he did what he did. He didn't say anything at first, but when I pushed, he finally admitted. Jack was having too much fun, and it irritated him. That kid was so spoiled that someone else's happiness bothered him. His mom started to defend him, saying, "He's just a kid," and blah blah. I stopped her and sent Jack outside to sit in my car. Then I let my brother have it. I told him everything, how he had failed as a father, how he had neglected Jack, how he had spoiled James to the point of making him a terrible human being. My brother just listened. He didn't say a word. His wife tried to say something again, but this time he shut her up. It looked like reality had finally hit him. He finally realized his younger son was becoming a terrible person. I told him that if they hated Jack so much, I could take him in. Then I left and took Jack back to my apartment. Now Jack is here with me. His mother has been blowing up my phone, saying I was cruel to James and that I shouldn't meddle in their family affairs. She accused me of favoritism toward Jack. I didn't reply to her. I haven't heard anything from my brother yet. Maybe he's still processing his mistakes. For now, Jack is with me, playing games, studying. He's such a great kid. And if his parents don't want him back, I plan to support him until he graduates and gets on his feet. Am I the a-hole for taking Jack's side? Now for the top comments. Hopefully your brother will understand what was going on and not criticize you for having Jack at your house and defending him. Jack's mother will probably always lash out against you. Hopefully Jack can live at your house for a while until things calm down. You need to make sure that James is not going to seek revenge and do something evil. You're not the a-hole for defending your nephew. I believe my brother realized his actions. He was shocked when James admitted what he did, and he didn't say a word when I was screaming at him. Maybe it's a good idea to invite your brother to an evening together. Not to berate him again, but just to hang out together, eat something good, maybe play some board games with Jack if you're into it. Just have a fun evening together. This way, you show him that your concern comes from love, not bad feelings. This also might show him how Jack is thriving in a safe home and what a good and sweet kid he really is. I will actually do that. For now, I am just calming down Jack, making him feel he is not alone and he is loved. Then I plan to call my brother and have a talk with him. Not the a-hole. For Jack to have to do that just to get the truth from his brother, it shows he had a lot of restraint over the years. But everyone has a breaking point. My younger siblings were spoiled rotten. When I moved out at 21, my parents finally saw what I'd been dealing with for years and couldn't handle it. OP, you have saved Jack from not only his family, but himself. He ran to you, had the maturity to go home and face the consequences, and you shielded him. You are the very best, and I hope you and Jack find peace with each other now and in the future. Honestly, I was not that brave or sensible like Jack when I was 16. I will do my best to support him. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my family it's not my fault I'm not a twin? My parents struggled to have kids and underwent fertility treatments, which resulted in 2 sets of non-identical boy-girl twins who, for the most part, look identical. The older twins are Max and Amy, and the younger twins are Jace and Lacey. Our family has always been obsessed with the fact that 2 sets of twins were born to the same parents, and that they could pass for identical, even though they're the opposite sex. Birthdays, Christmas, school plays, sports games, report cards, graduations, everything was a huge deal and celebrated as this great unique thing. My siblings had countless parties thrown for them and received so many gifts for every possible occasion that it was insane. I was born 6 years after Jace and Lacey, and my family has never hidden their disappointment in having a singleton. My birthdays were never a big deal, and I didn't get the same attention for Christmas, report cards, sports games, or school plays. For my siblings, the whole family would try to show up and support them, while I was lucky if even one parent attended anything for me. My report cards were never celebrated either. I'm not particularly close to my siblings. They don't notice me much and enjoy the attention, so it's easy for me to slip through the cracks. But even our parents don't put the same amount of effort into me as they do for them. A weekend ago, my graduation became a topic of conversation. My siblings couldn't make it because of work or college, and the rest of the family responded with, "Well, I guess we don't need to plan around your graduation." I told them I would still like everyone there, but they said I didn't need anyone there. I asked why my siblings had full family support at theirs, and they told me it was a big deal because they were twins, one of two sets born to the same parents, and could pass for identical. They said that was something to celebrate. I told my family it wasn't my fault I wasn't a twin, and that I didn't understand why I was being overlooked. My grandpa said that at 17, I shouldn't be jealous of the attention other kids get, and that as a boy, I shouldn't get caught up in that kind of thing. I responded that even teenage guys want to feel like they matter. My family told me I was being unreasonable. One of my aunts accused me of gaslighting the family, while my grandma, parents, and a couple of other aunts and uncles said I was emotionally trying to manipulate them. They now want me to apologize to everyone for saying it's not my fault I'm not a twin, because according to them, nobody ever said it was. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. I am so sorry your family sucks so much. It's not gaslighting people to say I matter too. I hope you have, or find, amazing friends to be a found family, because you deserve live attention and support. Not the a-hole. I'm sorry. The only thing I can say is get so successful that never speak to them again. Change your will to make sure your money never goes to them. Just be better than they ever will. Yikes, so your parents went through all this time, money and effort to have a large family, and they treat you like a throwaway? I'm sorry. I didn't realize that happening to be born on the same day as another sibling was such a significant accomplishment. Next story. Am I the a-hole for siding with my daughter over my wife over adoption and what she calls her? I, 35 male, have an 11-year-old daughter, Haley, with my ex. My ex died when Haley was 2, but I was already a single parent at that point. Haley knows about her mom in an age-appropriate way. She understands her mom's struggles and that she wasn't in her life prior to her passing. I had a therapist help me navigate those discussions, and Haley still attends therapy at times to work through any lingering questions or sadness about the way her mom's life turned out. I met my wife, Amy, 33 female, when Haley was 4. Haley was 6 when they first met. I admit I took my time introducing them. I was cautious because I didn't want to risk Haley getting attached if things didn't work out. I also wanted to be sure Amy understood what she was signing up for by being with me. A huge part of me worried about how Haley would handle it. But they got along great from the start, and it was amazing to witness their bond grow. Amy was wonderful with Haley, and Haley enjoyed having Amy around. When Haley was 7 and Amy and I got married, Haley asked if she could call Amy Suds, a nickname Amy's family uses for her. Amy was thrilled that Haley wanted to use that nickname. Things were good. There were some discussions on Amy's side about what Haley would call them. Haley generally uses first names for most people and nicknames for a few. Amy's parents grumbled at one point about not being called Grandma and Grandpa, but Amy told them the decision was Haley's and that they should focus on earning those titles over time. Things changed when Amy became pregnant with our daughter, Summer, 7 months. Suddenly, Amy became hurt by Haley calling her Suds or using her first name. She was also bothered that Haley referred to her as her stepmom or as Dad's wife, depending on who she was talking to. Stepmom was more common, but at times, she would say Amy was my wife. Amy and I talked about it, and I told her nothing had changed. Amy told me that was the problem. She was giving Haley a sister, and it bothered her that she hadn't earned the title of mom in Haley's eyes. She also pointed out that she would be home with Summer, taking on more responsibility for Haley, and it stung to think she would be acting as a mother, but not being recognized as one. At my request, we saw a family therapist together. After several sessions, we brought Haley in for a bit. The therapist reassured Amy that Haley loved her and that their relationship was strong, even if Haley didn't call her mom. But that didn't settle Amy. Now Amy has not let this go. Without saying anything to me, she asked Haley if she would let her adopt her. Haley told her that she loved her, but didn't want to be adopted. I only found out about this conversation from Haley, and I was upset. Amy, in turn, was upset that I was upset. She told me she doesn't want to continue like this. She said she wants Haley to call her mom, or at least some variation of it. She also still wants to adopt Haley and make their relationship more than just guardianship, which she already has. When Haley and I talked about it, she was honest. She didn't want to be adopted. She was sad that Amy was upset and didn't want to hurt her feelings, but she was firm in her decision. Amy, however, is still hurt and upset that I chose Haley's feelings over hers. She told me I should at least tell Haley to call her mom. I told her that should be Haley's choice, just like Amy had previously told her parents. Amy said she used to believe those titles could be earned, but that belief has died. I asked if this was truly a deal breaker for her, and she said yes, because she hates hearing Haley use her name or her nickname while she always calls me Dad. Amy has confided in her parents about everything, and they told me I was doing Amy wrong by siding with Haley. They said this is about respect, not just feelings, and that it's disrespectful for Haley to not call Amy mom after all this time. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Go back to family therapy. If Amy can't let this go, things are going to get really ugly. That might not be a terrible idea for just the two of us. I worry Haley being there will make things worse right now. Not the a-hole. Amy needs to pour herself a nice tall glass of grow the heck up. You did the right thing by protecting your daughter instead of catering to your wife's insecurities. I wish her mindset from before could return. She even used to say as long as she wasn't the wicked or hated stepmom, she was happy, and now she's unhappy with anything other than mom. Get Amy checked for postpartum depression. It can do crazy things to your mind. I know from experience. She was already checked for that, but this also started before she gave birth. Although I know stuff can pop up even during pregnancy. But with her already being checked, I'm not sure it is that. Admittedly, it could still be. Put your foot down hard. Tell Amy she and her parents need to stop the childish behavior. Last story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my sister out after she laughed at me and my disabled wife? My wife and I are both 23. We started dating when we were 15 and got married 4 years ago. Our families were against us getting married so young, saying we were too young to commit, but we went through with it anyway. They attended the wedding, though we could sense their discomfort. Now both of our families get along, and I felt like we had all come together because my wife and I were happy, and so were they. 7 months ago, my wife had an accident. She broke both of her legs and suffered facial scars, which led her into depression. I've been doing my best to support her, comfort her, and provide as much physical and emotional care as I can. The doctors are trying their best, but the truth is, she's possibly paralyzed for life. She knows it, and so do I, but I'm committed to helping her through this. 3 days ago, my sister came to visit us. She got drunk and started making fun of our situation. She blabbered on, saying it was karma for hurting everyone in our family. Thankfully, my wife wasn't around as she was sleeping. I asked my sister to get in the car, and I dropped her off at her place. The next day, she apologized and said she didn't mean to hurt me. I told her that what she said was deeply hurtful. If she had hit me, I could have forgiven her. But making fun of what my wife and I are going through is something I cannot accept. I told her I would never talk to her again. Now my parents are saying I should forgive and forget because she was drunk, but I feel like she was extremely disrespectful to both of us and our struggle, and making fun of it is not something I can overlook. Not the a-hole. Drunk words are sober thoughts. This I've always believed what people say when they are drunk are their true thoughts, because inhibitions go out the window when you're intoxicated. You say and do things you wouldn't normally do because all your filters are gone. I don't believe this as a blanket statement, but in this case, it is for sure her sober thoughts. Not the a-hole, but she was drunk is not an excuse. Go commit a crime, and when you're in front of the judge in court, tell them, I shouldn't be punished because I was drunk, and see how far that gets you. Drunk people don't just make things up out of the blue. They say the things that they have been thinking all along, but when they're sober are smart enough to keep to themselves. Actually, yes, that's what I am most concerned about. I am thinking, does my sister hate my wife so much that she's enjoying her suffering? Does she not realize that her brother is also suffering? Does she hate me as well? I love her, and I thought she loved me, even though we had a rough time. But to say this all, I would have preferred if my sister berated, insulted, or slapped me instead of what she said. At least I could have forgiven her. But she crossed boundaries, and I don't know how to forget her words even if she was drunk.